Hi my friends, I'll try to explain exactly what I've done to test 3PV. 3PV is not something new, it is something that I think you know and all the FPV community knows quite well. It stands for third person view, third person view. So with 3PV it means that you put your camera, for example a GoPro or Insta360 Go or any other camera, not in the front of your drone like in this place like in any other FPV drone, but to put the camera in the back side of your drone. And this means that you're going to get a footage that will include also your drone in the vision and in the landscape of your clip. If you get a search for 3PV on YouTube or Google or something else, you will find tons of video of 3PV, so it's not something that I discovered or I invented, but it is something really cool. It is easy to do, it is very fast to do, and it's cool. I did not think that it was so cool for such an easy way to do it, but it is very fine. Okay, now before we go on with what I've done to fit my Insta360 Go in the back of one of my FPV drone, let's take a look at this really short clip to give you an idea of what is 3PV. Okay, now hope you enjoyed. In my opinion, it is fine. It is weird. It's not so usual. It is not just like the image of the landscape in your first-person view. It is something interesting to maybe to put inside one of your clip and maybe to mix it with some other footage in standard first-person view. Okay, now let's get a closer look on the bench on how I fitted the camera in the back side of this drone. As you can see, it is quite easy. The concept is to put a lightweight camera. It is important that it has to be lightweight, not to get out of balance of your drone weight distribution, and put it in the rear backside of your drone. I choose the Insta360 Go because it is really lightweight, and it is also a stabilized camera, an electronic stabilization system that is the flow state technology from Insta360. It is possible to get a really weird kind of stabilization, but we go on speaking about this later. To fit the Insta360 Go in this GepRC KH-X5, I just made something like this. This one is a Lexan polycarbonate stick that it is 5mm thick. I cut it and I machined it with a milling machine to get this shape and this quite precise profile. All these holes that you can see here were made just to get a more lightweight solution, and I designed and printed these two brackets made out of TPU. They are soft and made of TPU that are screwed right into the frame attachment in here and in here, and they use these M3 screws that are going to be fitted in the aluminum brackets of the frame. And with this screw in here I can remove this one. I've made these M3 threaded holes in here, and I can move the stick in a more front position or back position, and I can choose to put this little M3 screw in the hole I want to get the correct image or the preferred image to get different effect in video recording. The best place I found it is to use this second hole in here. I can fix it here and then tighten the two brackets to keep it in place. And this one, it's in my opinion a good position to get a good image like the one you have seen in the previous video. It is around 250 millimeters from the center of the frame. Okay, in my opinion this is a good way to start, and if you have the possibility to do something like this one that is adjustable, it is something really helpful, because you can find the perfect position you need and you prefer. In the far back of the stick I have this little mount that is a standard mount of the Insta360 Go. I just stick it these rubbers to be sure not to lose my Insta360, and I used plastic nut or screw that I made myself with a turning machine. That is the standard thread for cameras mounting and tripods, and I just made a hole in here. This support from Insta360, it is adjustable, so it is possible to position it as you want, and the Insta360 Go just clip it in, and I use also here a rubber to secure the Insta360 Go not to fall off from the bracket. Here it is, really easy, really simple. I think I've made it with a milling machine, a turning machine, because I have the possibility to do this. But in my opinion, with any hardware you have in your garage, in your box, in your room, I think it's quite easy to do. Of course, remember that it's not extremely strong. It is very exposed, so in case of a crash, it is quite sure you're going to break it or lost it or something like that. So be careful and don't get into a bando with extreme freestyle action with something like this, because it is not made for this. Okay, now that the hardware it is explained, and you know how to get in touch with this and how to think about it and to try something with your quads, let's take a closer look to the footage that I got from the Insta360 Go and how to use the two different stabilization modes that this camera can offer you. That is flow state and FPV stabilization. Okay, let's get on the clips. Okay, this clip first, it has been exported with the flow state stabilization. As you can see, the flow state stabilization tries to lock the horizon line, and you can see that there is a very big movement side to side of the drone and the stick itself. The quad going angled from side to side of the screen, and the landscape in the main part of the clip that is stabilized and correctly positioned. This one, it is something weird, because you can also get something like this. In this case, I tried to make some roll while doing a dive, and as you can see, the Insta360 software went a little bit weird, and it was not able to re-get in place immediately. And you can get something like this one, where you have your drone in the top part of the top side of the screen and not in the bottom. The second possibility you have to stabilize the video, it is the FPV stabilization. In this case, you will not see the drone going angle so hard and so side to side, and also when you are going to do a roll, you will not see the drone passing through the top of the screen and going back to the bottom. You will have for sure stabilization, but you will have a more natural position of your quad in the screen, and it will stay in the bottom. You are not going to see it passing on the top and get back on the bottom. And this one, it is another possibility you have while exporting videos in the Insta360 Go app or studio if you're going to use it on desktop. In my opinion, they are both very interesting ways to use 3PV footage, because they are different, but you get different results. And of course, in all this clip you can see a little bit of jello. You know, maybe you have seen my previous tech tips video where I spoke about the Insta360 Go jello problem and how to solve it with a soft mount. In this case, it was my first test of 3PV, right? The last week I made these clips, and I just, as you have seen, I have just mounted with an hard mount directly on the stick. Maybe it could be interesting to develop something different, to see if it is possible to also remove completely the jello. Okay, now we are back for the conclusions. I think that if you have a 5-inch freestyle drone, an Insta360 Go, or something like a very little and lightweight camera, not for sure a GoPro. I think that a GoPro like a Session 5 that is around 80 grams, it is already too much to be put in this far back position. But 20 grams camera like the Insta360 Go, it is nothing to be worried about when flying something like a so powerful drone. I think that if you have this stuff, it is time to try something like this, because it is interesting, it is funny, it is funny to watch, to see the video, and I don't know, just get a try on it. Okay, hope you enjoyed this video on how to do 3PV. If you liked it, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment, enjoy my Instagram profile. See you next time with some other FPV adventures. Okay, it's enough. See you next time, and remember, stay always work in progress.